and his impact on this team right now, what are you expecting from James Harden? And are you confident his numbers will at least be better than what they were when he was in Brooklyn?
I think the one thing that a lot of people are forgetting, Mark, like last year, it was just last year that he got traded to Brooklyn. And when he first got there, he took on the role of like a point guard because, he was playing with two great players in KD and Kyrie. And he took that role on. There were people who had MVP buzz for him, right? Like it was Jokic, it was Embiid, and Harden was in that. He found himself in that mix because of how well he played. That was a year ago. That wasn't 4 years ago when he won the MVP. It was a year ago. So to me, I think the hamstring issues were a lot bigger than maybe they're being led to. Like, I see a lot of people kind of poking fun at him and saying, his hamstring's magically cured. I don't think that's the case. I think he was truly nursing something. I don't think he purposely meant to put up 4 points on a road game in Sacramento. Like, I think he was hurting. And, people I talk to that cover the Nets, there's like this weird reputation that maybe James like doesn't go all out or like isn't a gamer, but I've heard it's the opposite. Like the reason like he was trying to play on one leg for that team because Kevin Durant was hurt, because Kyrie Irving could only play in road games. He was gutting it out because he knew the team needed him. So I expect the impact to be great. I expect him to be a great player. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a little time, but I think he already has the right attitude, and it's sure it's like the honeymoon phase, right? For at least the rest of the regular season and probably this postseason run. But I think you're going to get a motivated, happy, and just a really good James Harden for at least the rest of this season.
Gotcha. I'm hoping the same thing. The other thing that is interesting to me is that this was his number one choice, and I don't think that was just players speak. I don't think he was playing to the crowd. I mean, you can make the argument when he said Sixers fans are the greatest, although I believe him. I don't think he was just saying it. Like, I think he legit wanted to be here from the get-go. So I think the Sixers obviously have that in favor if they were his number one choice.
For sure. And to me, I hear that, again, I'm there and I'm hearing that and I'm thinking to myself, all these debates we've kind of had of, is Philadelphia a destination? Do people want to go to the Sixers? Do they want to play with Joel Embiid? Is that something people want? To see a guy who is, again, a former league MVP, 10-time All-Star, one of the 75 greatest players of all time, sit there at a podium and say, Philadelphia was my first choice. And like you said, Mark, I believe him. I really do believe him. When you look at the fit on paper, the idea of the most dominant post player in the NBA, arguably the most dominant player in the NBA period right now, and then you add a guy like Harden, who is one of the greatest perimeter playmakers of all time, it just makes so much sense. He reunites with Daryl Morey. He reunites with Tad Brown in a market like Philly. Like it's not a stretch to like, you know what I mean? Like you can make it makes sense that he would want to be here, even as opposed to Brooklyn, because you like Brooklyn had a lot of drama. I mean, that's the reality, and it's weird to say because the Sixers, outside of Ben Simmons, haven't had a lot of drama, which is bizarre because they are always filled with it. So. When you look at the situations, you could make a credible argument. Like it makes sense that James would have preferred to be in Philadelphia over Brooklyn, and it just didn't work out that way right away. And now he is in the place he wanted to be in from the get-go.
Gotcha. So let's talk about fit for a second here. We always say in basketball, is there enough ball to go around? Only one person can shoot it at a time. So how does it work with James Harden and Joel Embiid? How do you see those two playing together?
It's going to be an adjustment, like no doubt about it, because when you look at the centers that James Harden has had success with, you're looking at rim running guys, lob threats. Those are the type of guys that James has always had success with. When you look at the players that Joel has had success with, it's basically, playing 4 out, surrounded by catch and shoot guys. That's where he's excelled. That's not really compatible with each other when you look at it from that perspective. But I have this funny feeling that both of these guys are going to adjust. Joel's going to say, okay, James, you want me to roll more? I'll roll more. Joel, you want me to, do you want me to catch and shoot? I'll catch and shoot more. Like, I think both of them are ready at this point in their careers to make those sacrifices, to make the other better and to try to win a title.